The xenobiology lecture hall fell silent as Professor Velthar's crystalline manipulators hovered over the containment field controls. 23 students from 7 different species watched with a mixture of anticipation and dread. Today's practical examination would test everything they'd learned about psychological warfare and fear-based defense mechanisms. The Vorax fear beast, Velthar's translator crackled, has evolved over millennia to manifest the deepest terrors of any sentient being. It reads neural patterns, extracts primal fears, and weaponizes them. Only species with sufficient mental fortitude have ever survived an encounter. James leaned back in his seat, arms crossed casually. The human exchange student had been at the Galactic Institute for 3 cycles now, and his strange mannerisms still unsettled most of his classmates. Orla, a Thessian with iridescent skin that shifted colors with her emotions, sat 2 seats away. Her dermal patterns flickered between curious purple and anxious yellow. Today, Velthar continued, one volunteer will face the beast in a controlled environment. The exercise will end when the subject either masters their fear or requests extraction. Who will demonstrate their courage? The silence stretched. Even Cathar, the boastful Dravian warrior who'd spent weeks bragging about his combat prowess, suddenly found the floor fascinating. I'll do it, James said, standing up. His voice carried no bravado, just matter-of-fact acceptance. Velthar's optical sensors focused on the human. Mr. Chen, you understand the risks? The beast has caused psychological trauma to several tenured professors. Your species is untested in this scenario. Yeah, I got it. James walked toward the reinforced observation arena. Let's get this over with. I've got a calculus exam in 2 hours. Orla's skin flashed bright orange alarm. She'd become something close to friends with the strange human, sharing meals in the station's biodome and discussing their vastly different homeworlds. Humans were rare in this sector of space, their planet only recently having achieved faster-than-light travel. Most species saw them as naive newcomers, dangerously unaware of the galaxy's true dangers. James stepped into the arena. The transparent aluminum walls hummed as they sealed. Velthar's manipulators danced across the controls, and a section of the floor irised open. From the darkness below, something emerged. The Vorax fear beast defied easy description. Its form shifted constantly, a nightmare made flesh. One moment it resembled a massive predator with too many teeth. The next it was something older, more primal. A darkness that moved with terrible purpose. Purple energy crackled around its form as it began scanning James, searching through his mind for the fears that would break him. The class leaned forward. Orla's skin had gone pure white, terror by proxy. The beast's form began to solidify. It grew larger, taking on a shape that made several students look away. Whatever it had found in James's mind, it was preparing to use it. Then something unexpected happened. The beast hesitated. Its form wavered, cycling through shapes rapidly. A towering spider, a serpent with human hands, something with too many eyes. Each manifestation lasted only seconds before dissolving into the next. The purple energy around it flickered uncertainly. James just stood there, hands in his pockets, watching with mild interest. Fascinating, he said. It's trying everything, isn't it? The beast's form became more frantic. It showed him fire, showed him falling, showed him isolation in the vast dark between stars. Each terror was perfectly crafted, pulled from some deep well of human evolutionary fear. James yawned. Sorry, he called up to Professor Velthar. Is it supposed to be doing this long? I really do have that exam. The creature seemed to pause as if reconsidering its approach. Then it did something that made even Velthar's translator sputter with confusion. It shrank. The massive horror contracted, its nightmare form dissolving into something smaller, almost uncertain. The purple energy faded to a soft blue, and then, in a move that would be discussed in xenopsychology classes for decades to come, the Vorax fear beast walked over to James and curled up beside him like an exhausted pet. It closed what might have been eyes and appeared to sleep. The lecture hall erupted in chaos. Students were shouting in 7 different languages, their translators creating a cacophony of confused questions. Velthar abandoned all professorial dignity and pressed against the observation glass. James looked down at the creature, then up at his professor. So, did I pass? What did you do? Velthar demanded, manipulators trembling. What mental technique did you employ? What defense mechanism? Defense? James looked genuinely confused. He crouched down and carefully patted the sleeping creature. It made a sound almost like a purr. I didn't do anything. It just tried to scare me, I guess. But honestly, after growing up on Earth, this is pretty tame. Elaborate, Velthar commanded. James shrugged. I mean, on Earth, we've got actual predators that can kill you in hundreds of different ways. We've got natural disasters, diseases, economic collapse, social rejection, existential dread about our place in the universe, and the constant knowledge that everything we love will eventually end. We grow up watching horror movies for fun. We tell scary stories to entertain ourselves. Fear is just part of the package. We learned to live with it so long ago that it's basically furniture. Orla finally found her voice, her skin a shocked silver. You're saying humans are so naturally terrified that you've become immune? Not immune, James corrected. We still feel fear. We just don't let it stop us. Fear is data, not a directive. It tells us something might be dangerous, and then we decide what to do about it. He looked down at the sleeping beast. I think this little guy got confused when I acknowledged the fear but didn't run. Probably wore himself out trying to find something that would work. The fear beast stirred, nuzzling closer to James's leg. It seems, Velthar said slowly, that it has imprinted on you. The Vorax bonds with apex predators. It believes you are the most dangerous thing in this room. James laughed. That's ridiculous. I'm a grad student living on instant noodles and coffee. But as he looked around at his classmates, powerful Dravian warriors, telepathic Thessians, species that had mastered their star systems while humans still thought the Earth was flat, he saw something new in their expressions. It wasn't contempt for the naive newcomers. It was wariness, respect, and just a hint of fear. Maybe, James thought, humanity's real superpower wasn't that they conquered fear. It was that they'd lived with it so long, so intimately, that they'd made it their ally. The fear beast purred in its sleep, content to have finally found something truly fearless to protect. Or perhaps, something too terrifying to need protecting at all.